Shasana Kwanaye. And I had drivers no, your friend, Atina means to say, I just say, you're coping for on a catch omu. Now, almost just a great apart, among grade so, now young faso, because your child road with a young quarters, your insurance.
Right, so recap of what happened this morning. I'll very soon be joined by the Municipal Chief Executive, Numo Adinote North Addison. But before that, let me try and look at what the security implications of what happened this morning. Dr. Emmanuel Bombante is the Executive Director of the West African Network for Peace Building, and he just joined me on the phone now. Great to have you, sir. First, now, it was in Teshi, a chieftaincy dispute, a shaman youth clashing with the police. Is this a signal that perhaps things are getting out of hand looking at our security?
Thank you, and good afternoon to you and your viewers. I will not want to describe these incidences as things getting out of hand for a very simple reason. Regardless of the quick mobilization of these youths and the fact that these violent protests have taken on a trend that is of concern, you should not look at just the actions of the demonstrations, but you should look at the capacity of responding to deal with them.
Right.
And there's no question that the police should be commended for their professionalism in the way they've handled this. And that is why, yes, we must be concerned about the extent to which young people can mobilize themselves in the name of protesting for a good cause and yet engage in the type of violence that is unacceptable. But for me, the reason why it is not getting out of hand is that we must continue to appreciate that we have a professional police service that is able to respond and mitigate these demonstrations from reaching proportions that then become difficult to manage and to control.
Quickly before I come back to the issue of security, now you think that the police acted professional, but we have footages of police brutality there, of what happened this morning. How much do you know of that professionalism you're talking about that happened this morning?
I've not seen those visuals, and I'm not able to engage based on your assessment of what you saw.
Right.
But then when I was monitoring, mostly on radio, even coming to the office, there was no doubt that the interviews that the police gave, not just also the police, but the interviews that people who were participating even in these demonstrations gave, you could see that the police were responding in a manner that allowed them to also increase the level to which they wanted to deploy more men and women, and they also wanted to use the type of force that is commensurate with what was happening on the ground. And so you saw a progression of that up to when they even resorted to warning shots. But as I said, I've not seen those visuals, so I'm not able to make that commentary and make that assessment about what you have described as brutality.
Right.
But let me put it this way.
Go ahead.
I do not want to hold brief for the police, and I'm not even capable of speaking to suggest on their behalf their own professional conduct. But I want to observe that when rioting begins to go to the bounds in which the threat is also on the lives of innocent Ghanaians who are going about their duties in a manner that is under the respect of the law. The protection that the state must give to these people is not to allow unruly rioters to become a threat to these people. And so they must be able to mitigate any threat onto the lives of ordinary people. They must do that in a way that does not overexert themselves on the rights of these people. But we should not say that because they're demonstrating, they can do anything and the police should stand by and watch. And so I would like to describe it in this dimension.
Right. Dr. Bombade, now the issue about the security implications, there are laid down rules. If the youth of Ashaiman were not happy, there were rules that they could have their grievances addressed, but they didn't do it. They resorted to violence. Is this something that is becoming part of our governance structure, our governance system?
Not necessarily because it is becoming part of our governance system, but when you were making your preliminary observations, the worry and the concern is the level to which young people are choosing to use violence even when the premise is to do a peaceful protest. And to that extent, we must watch that, and we must be able to nip this in the bud so that it does not become part of our culture. And one of the ways to do that is how we are able to separate genuine demands that require the response of authorities from those who want to take advantage of that and become simply unruly in their behavior. And that is why the level of assertiveness of the police must also include how they deal firmly with those who break the law, so that we do not have that becoming part of demonstrations in Ghana. And the next level then is to continue to promote and encourage the type of dialogue that makes it possible for people to air their grievances, but do it in a way that is not violent and that does not become a threat to the lives of other Ghanaians.
Right. The right to demonstration is guaranteed, but what we saw this morning, vehicle tires being bent on the road, would you want to say this is a kind of a peaceful demonstration the Constitution talks about?
The line was cracking, but definitely, if I understood you, this extends beyond a peaceful demonstration. And interestingly, you should be able to appreciate it in the context of the demand. Now, the burning of those tires was simply, exaggerated to the point that the very roads that are spoiled, that are deteriorating, that they are protesting and demanding their repair, the process of burning tires on those roads was further destroying those roads. And to that extent, the leadership of these demonstrators should be held accountable for ruining the very roads that they are complaining about. And that is why this is not, you cannot describe this as a peaceful protest. I thought that this was a behavior that was unacceptable and should not be countenanced. It was a behavior that was also mobilized by mob action. It was a behavior in which you did not see a rational, in my view, behavior. I say this because when normally you have these protests and the police appear, the presence of the police alone should make people begin to behave differently and respect that these men and women are representing the state in trying to keep the peace. And when the police are ignored and people rather become agitated and they are trying to ban and do all the type of things that you described on the visuals, then it is not a peaceful protest.
Dr. Bombade, can you stay on the line for me for just 1 minute? Let me speak to Chief Superintendent David Eklu of the Ashaiman Divisional Commander. But before that, let me show you pictures that we picked up this morning, pictures of demonstrators who were injured and perhaps were left to their fate, no one to attend to them whilst the police looked on. So let's watch this. I'll come back to speak to Chief Superintendent David Eklu of the Ashaiman Divisional Police Command.
Carry and go hospital. I beg you. Look for the hospital. If I don't leave, I'll make you feel like that. They will take her. They will take her. Therefore, carry and go hospital first. I beg. If you got the ambulance, you will
Fatale.
the police boss. See, walk on towards the other and we'll go get Jackie,
Right, and Chief Superintendent David Klu is the commander of the Ashama Division. He just joined me on the line. Great to have you, sir. Now, first of all, how would you describe the way the police handled the youth this morning?
So far, I think we did what we have to do. From the beginning, when we got information, we quickly contacted the leaders of who we know can talk to them. And they did speak to them. And when they started around 5 a.m., as of 9, when they got to the overhead, most of the members who claimed they belonged to the drivers' unions withdrew. But at that point, when we had actually persuaded them and shown massive presence, a lot of them withdrew. But a few of them came around and they started passing stones, attacking passengers, vehicles that were passing, and setting fire to lorry tires, and actually compounding the situation. So we have to increase the level of force. So tear gas was used at that point to disperse them, to allow those who were going about the normal duties to go about their work. So that is the stages. Those are the stages that we went through.
Chief Superintendent, you would describe that as minimal force. That's what you've always said.
Yes, of course, yes. We use minimal force because the tear gas was used, yeah.
In the use of that force, some people were injured and the police left them to their fate.
I cannot actually confirm that, but
I am confirming to you. I am confirming to you that Joy News has pictures of people bleeding and policemen standing by and simply refusing to act. We have pictures. Joy News has pictures. People bleeding.
What I'm saying is that I'm not denying that people were not injured. The police officer was injured. Other people were also injured. They are all on admission at the Temagina hospital now. They were eventually conveyed to the place.
So the police service was simply overwhelmed by the number of injured?
We were not overwhelmed. And what I'm saying is that one police officer was injured. I saw a few injuries from the people who were part of the demonstrators, and they were conveyed to the Temagina hospital.
How did you pursue this particular agenda? Did you go in perhaps with some ambulances knowing that there could be injuries?
The demonstration was spontaneous. We had to send police vehicles there, and all the available vehicles there were the ones that we used to convey the injured to the hospital.
So the policeman was rushed to the hospital, but the protester who was injured was left to his fate.
I don't think so. Eventually, he was sent to the hospital.
And has the police made follow-ups to those who were injured wherever they are?
Now, investigators have been dispatched to the hospital, and they are talking to them and finding out their condition and see what can be done.
Right. Just before I let you go, what is the situation now in Ashaiman?
Calm has been restored. Traffic is now flowing normally. Everybody is going about his or business. And we have deployed police officers at very strategic locations, at least to assure the public that we are there to ensure that law and order is obeyed.
Thank you so much for speaking to me, Chief Superintendent David Eklu, as the commander at Ashaiman Divisional Police here. Have in the studio the Municipal Chief Executive Numo Adidote Norson. Great, and thanks so much for joining us. Now, you earlier in the morning described the situation as not an ordinary demonstration, but people who are perhaps peeved at what is happening there. Would you still stick to that assertion?
That
people are really not demonstrating about the roads, but it's a political thing. That is how you wanted to describe it this morning.
Oh, initially, we didn't anticipate that it would be like that.
Right.
But then, as we went on, it became something very big. Some people were just asked to join. And sometimes when some of these things happen, everybody wants to take part.
Right.
But it's unfortunate that this thing had happened. And
why do you say it is unfortunate?
Unfortunate in the sense that we are doing something about the situation. This is a dual carriage road which is being constructed by the central government.
Right.
It's even not being constructed by the assembly. It's way, way beyond the threshold of the assembly. So it's a central government project. But from time to time, the assembly does some interventions. The contractor who is working on the road is one of the big contractors. They are the ones who even constructed the asphalt road in Tema. So he has the capacity. That is why he has come to work in Ashaiman. But then he's been complaining about money of late.
Right.
And the work has stalled in a way. So the assembly comes in to do some interventions by way of patching some potholes and making the place more trouble for pedestrians and the transport operators to use, the vehicles to use, and so on. But unfortunately, some people didn't understand.
How would you describe the reaction of the youth? Did you see it coming? Looking at perhaps appeals, looking at letters, looking at interactions with the youth of Ashaiman. Did you see this coming?
No, you see, even before the general elections, it was all over the place that Ashaiman rules. Government did something. We have completed the roads at Jericho. It's been tarred. We've completed roads at Vaco Flats. They've been tarred. We've completed roads at Ashaiman New Town. But what is left is this major road, which is being done, and the contract will end on 28th December 2013. So it is an ongoing project. It is a project where, those of you who know Ashaiman very well, it used to be a single lane. So you have one vehicle going, another one coming. But now it's been expanded. So you have 3 vehicles moving this way, another 3 vehicles coming. So you can imagine the expansion work that is being done and the volume of work. And so the capital outlay, the amount of money in it is also very huge, and government is funding. But this is not the only project government is doing.
You are the representative of the president there. Sure, he might have called you and you have made some report. What did he ask you and what did you tell him?
This road, as I said, is a central government project.
Right.
The assembly doesn't have the full control over it. What we are doing is to facilitate the construction, but the actual execution and then funding is being done by central government. And you see, one thing with our decentralization is that we have not fully decentralized everything to the assemblies. If we should decentralize, and even with physical decentralization, monies have to be decentralized to the
from the center to the assembly.
So that they will take absolute control.
Is that what the president told you? That tell your people they should exercise that restraint. We are getting the money to fix the road. Is that what he told you?
Oh, the president is also concerned. Each time he comes to Ashaiman, even before the election, he assured
I'm talking about today. Has he spoken to you about it? Have you spoken to him about it?
Oh, we have people who are handling. The minister is there, so you don't need to go to the president. The minister is the finance minister.
And you have not interacted with the minister and the president.
We have interacted with the MP.
I just want to know what they have been telling you about the road, this particular incident, the demonstration this morning, the violence.
The issue is that we have interacted with the road minister. He has actually assured us that something will be done. So the contractor will come back to site. In fact, about 2 weeks ago, the MP, myself, and other people wanted to go on a tour and to assess the situation and make it a media, project. But then because of the intervention of the minister, he says that by all means he has to, come out with something. So he has assured us that definitely something will be done. And so we are.
Did he give you timelines? He assured you, but did he tell you that, let's say, by the end of the contract, that is December, the road will be done?
Yeah, I'm very optimistic that by the end of this week, the contractor will pay some money so that he can continue.
Because of what has happened?
No. It is already in the pipeline. We have explained to people. If I have explained to our people, even those who have also come out to organize some of these things are aware. They are aware that, first of all, it is not the assembly that is constructing this road.
Right.
It is central government, and central government is doing these things gradually. And the effort we have put in, myself, the MP, and other colleagues, the effort we have put in, they are aware. But I don't know. Do
you feel let down by your people for what happened this morning? You've told them, you've assured them, you're fixing the problems, and yet what happened this morning? Do you feel let down by them?
Yeah, I'm rather disappointed, by the attitude of some of our people. They have organized people who do not understand some of these things. This is about our decentralization. If everything is fully decentralized to us, then we have full control over it. So that even if you blame us or you blame government, then we take full control. We take all the blame. So it is about the decentralization that we should be able to decentralize everything to the assemblies so that the assemblies will take it up. So right now, I will only plead our appeal to government, our appeal to everybody for us to cooperate with the contractor so that he speeds up the work, so that this problem will
be resolved quickly.
Oh, yes.
The complaint were not about the main road alone, the dual carriageway, but some roads in Ashaiman Township, some of the demonstrators also said were not in good shape. Generally, how is the assembly working on improving roads, general roads in Ashaiman?
Okay, you agree with me that Ashaiman Municipal Assembly is one of the new districts, and I can say that the assembly has been neglected for a very long time. So some of these road works started in 2009 when we came into
Even
power.
after your status being moved to that of a municipality, you're still being neglected?
Yeah, so I'm saying that there's a lot of work to be done. So when we came from 2009, we started these roads. I'm talking about the main Ashaiman Zenu Road. We have done it. We have done Jericho Road. We have done Newtown Road, Faco Flats Road, and it is ongoing. Lebanon roads are also there. But we are talking about the main road, the main dual carriage road in Ashaiman.
Right.
And that is not the only one. There are other roads. So that's why I'm saying that government has done a lot, but a lot need to be done. And so we can only appeal. We can only appeal to government. We can only appeal to our people to remain calm so that everything will be done to their satisfaction.
Thank you so much for speaking to me.
Thank you very
Numo
much.
Adinote Addison is the Municipal Chief Executive for Ashaiman, talking to me about what happened. Just give me a minute, just hold on. But what have people been talking about what happened? Of course, it was all over on TV and on radio. Exactly what has the public been saying? Let's take a listen.
Blocking the way wouldn't solve the problem. You should confront the authorities in charge of the place, the MPs and staff, to solve the problem rather than blocking the place. Because if you block the place, you are rather also causing other problems like traffic and other stuffs.
It's wrong because you can't just, do anything without the consent of the MP in the area. You don't have the right to do anything like that. So it's against the law.
To some extent, in the long run, it wasn't the best. But in the short run, I think they did their best, because if they had not done that, maybe the government would have taken any measures to take care of their roads for them. And that place, I think, is a strong NDC hold. So if they're not taking care of that place, then where else can they take good care of?
It is a very bad habit to demonstrate on the road. We all have our ways of putting our issues or our problems across. I think the best thing they might have done was that they should see the people involved or who is in charge of the area, maybe the assemblyman or the MP, but then put their problems across. But blocking the streets, I don't think will augur well, and burning towers and things, I don't think will augur well for the nation.
That is not good, because they are firstly to meet the government and discuss before doing some manifestation. Okay, so because he can bring some fear. They can scare the people. They can disturb the traffic before. And early, there are some citizens who has gone maybe to work. So it's not good.
Right, so they spoke to our cameras, but a lot more of you have taken to our social media platforms and have sent in some of your comments. So let me quickly read some of them here. Now, Peter Aquincy is saying that, I want them to come back, for we need such rebellious attitude to get things done in this country. That's from Aquincy. And then Augusta Ginola Danso says, it has led to injury. That's all you're saying. And then Atipo Shine Nutepe says, that's a shaman for you, but they should have done demonstration, not blocking and burning car tires, please. Honorable Agbeshi, please help resolve the issues the youth and the whole of Ashaman is crying over. And then in Shiraba Kweku Owusu said the government is too quiet on developmental thing than to let greedy, well, I don't want to use that word you said. And then Akotua says that then we thank God. That's what Akoto says. He really don't know what you want to say. But Humphrey Aqua says, yes, calm has returned to Ashama, but not without an arrest and panic tear gas firing Ghana Police Service. A lot more of your comments in here, and of course we'll continue to read them in the course of the day. And this one from Michael Kenna. Okay, let me read this one from Alepu Wisdom. He says the MP of Ashaman is too dull. They must talk to him. And a lot more of them have just come in, and I will continue to read them in the course of the day. And so that issue there from Ashaman was today's big story for you right here on Joy News. I would say thank you so much, all of you who stayed glued to your set to be part of the show. Don't forget, it was brought to you by Blue Rose Limited, Health Shelter for All, and Star Life Assurance. Of course, we have more, and don't forget that at 8 p.m. Israelite will come your way with more development on the Shaman issue, as well as other very important stories of the day. Don't forget, the Supreme Court hearing has adjourned to Wednesday, and Israelite will tell you more about that later on at 8 p.m. My name is Bright Nanafu. Thanks so much. We have more news on this network, but if you want to go online, myjoyonline.com is your best bet. Good evening and see you later.